is, I don't know if this has ever taken place before. We get a chance to work with an expert commentator who has faced both of the two fighters in the ring within the past year. So, Roy, let's break down the fight in 5 different categories, and you give us an idea as to which of these two fighters holds the edge in each, starting with speed.
With speed, because Johnson moves a lot, he moves his head a lot, he moves his hands a lot, you would probably, lean towards him as far as speed goes, because he's always in motion. He's never still. He's always constantly got something going on. So I think I give Johnson the speed edge.
Which he'll need, because he probably has to be the attacker in the fight. How about the jab? Who has the edge there?
With the jab, Tarver is a taller fighter, and he definitely uses his right jab very well. So with him coming forward all the time and Johnson being 5'10", it's probably going to be more like him to have the advantage with the jab. So as far as the jab category goes, I give that to Tarver.
They both have to defend themselves. Who has the edge in that category?
Defense, I think both fighters are pretty much strong in that department because they're blooming at a late age. They've been very careful along their ways, so I think that's probably equal.
All right, moving forward to power. Who has the edge here?
With the power edge, I would no doubt give that to Tarver because it's just him and the way he fights. He stands still more. He throws a lot of power shots, so I definitely give the edge to Tarver.
Much more often a flat-footed fighter. And finally, let's talk about emotional resiliency, mental strength, the intangibles. Who has the edge here?
Mental strength, because of what Glen Johnson has been through, fighting such good fighters in the past as a Bernard Hopkins, etc., early in his career, not getting the wins, having so many chances and finally getting his chance, I think that goes to Johnson.
Roy, you were the ultimate collector of belts, yet the big business story of this fight is that both fighters agreed to be stripped of their light heavyweight title belts for the opportunity to fight each other for by far the most money. Right thing to do or wrong thing to do?
To me, that would be the right thing to do for these guys. First of all, they're both in their mid-30s, which is just about the end of your boxing career. Secondly, I was able to go up and do what I wanted to do in my prime. I had time to go get belts and do whatever I wanted to do. These guys are just now starting to come to the top of the game at the end of my career, so they need to get as much money as they can because their careers are just about over.
Case in point, Antonio Tarver. He reaches this great level of success in his career at age 36. So in the last year, Tarver has gone out of his way not only to show us his talent as a fighter, but also his audacity as a public figure. Here are a couple of examples.
You guys, I gave you instructions from the dressing room. Do you have any questions?
I got a question. You got any excuses tonight, Roy?
Let's not ask questions like that. Let's touch the gloves and go to work.
Tonight, Roy?
Let's go to work.
But I also want to let you in on a treat. A lot of people from HBO may not know this, but after I watched tapes of Jones and I saw his speed, it concerned me a lot. And his strength, and I knew he was coming back more powerful than ever, and at times looked unbeatable. So I bet on Jones. I bet on Jones, believe it or not.
Hedging your bet a little bit.
Smarty Jones, that is.
Well, when you have that much fun with your success, you do provide emotional incentives for your opponents, so it remains to be seen whether that keeps working out for Antonio Tarver. Meanwhile, we want to invite all of you to log on tonight to hbo.com/boxing during our main event. Submit a question to either myself, Larry, or Roy relating to tonight's telecast. We'll do our best to answer your question on the air before the conclusion of tonight's main event. Have a conversation with Roy Jones. Might be fun. Now let's look at the tail of the tape for Antonio Tarver against Glen Johnson. As Roy mentioned, both veteran fighters at ages 36 and 35. A 3-inch height advantage for Tarver, but a 1.5-inch arm length advantage measured from the armpit to the end of the fist for Glen Johnson. Go figure. They both weighed in within a pound of the 175-pound limit. CompuBox numbers, Larry, from their respective efforts against Roy Jones.
These numbers reflect the fact that Johnson was more aggressive against Roy Jones, so he threw a few more punches and landed a few more punches.
And rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside Santa Claus, Harold Letterman.
The Antonio Tarver Glen Johnson fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3 knockdown rule. The doctor or the referee can stop the fight. In case the cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards after 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell at any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Harold. Well, September Christmas for Glen Johnson as the result of the money he's making here off of having defeated Roy Jones. Johnson finally got to stop working construction, which he's done all the way through his career.
And now he actually spent a little money. And Larry bought both himself and his wife some bling, which seemed a tiny bit out of character.
It was a little bit out of character because you remember he seemed so modest after his upset of Roy when he said, I don't consider myself the best, I'm just willing to fight the best.
And given that he's got a tough fight here against Antonio Tarver, do you think he celebrated too early, Roy?
No, I don't think he's celebrating too early. I think he deserves everything he's gotten. That's why I was glad to be able to give a guy like him a chance. And for me to hear that, me giving him the opportunity made him come from not working at a construction job no more, being able to do what he does for a living now, full time. That's a blessing to him from God through me.
And it's really gratifying when you consider the record. This guy has 9 official losses on his record. 5 of them were decision losses against other fighters on their home turf in their hometowns. And a lot of people say Johnson shouldn't have more than 4 or 5 losses on his record at most. Prior to his fight against Jones, he plaintively lamented, why is it always me who gets the bad luck? Well, it wasn't that night. And now here comes Antonio Tarver wearing a crown on his head. Having been voluntarily stripped of his title belt, Tarver said, I wanted to have something else to designate championship in this division, so we're going to fight for a crown. And yes, he acknowledged if Johnson beats him, they'll hand the crown to Glen.
When he started his pro career after the 96 Olympics, Jim, he fought most of his fights in Philadelphia, and he'd come into the ring wearing a top hat and twirling a cane.
You knew him as a boy, Roy, and then at one point he took 4 full years off away from the sport. Are you surprised that he rose back near the top when he came back?
No, I'm not surprised. He was a good fighter as a kid. Coming up from Florida, we had a lot of good fighters back in that day. I just was the cream of the crop, and that's why I dominated until I got out of my prime. But I'm not surprised at all to see him come back. When I came up to amateur boxing, everybody had good fighters from all over because there was more of us. Nowadays, there's not as many programs to get the kids started at an early age, and that's why you don't see us do as well as we used to do in the Olympic Games.
You know, I'd like to put some numbers on the conversation about the 2 fighters giving up their belts. Tarver says he's getting $1 million more than he would have gotten for having to fight a mandatory challenger. And Johnson's handlers estimate he's getting $750,000 more than if he had fought a mandatory challenger. So maybe the sanctioning mobs do some good in that they give some fighters a chance to get some recognition with their belts, but it's a business arrangement. They get in return these outrageous sanctioning fees. So if the fighter finds that it's to his advantage to give up the belt, he's made a business decision.
We'll see if others will follow their lead. Meanwhile, let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing in association with Goosen Tudor Promotions, Staples Center, and PartyPoker.com are proud to present True Champions. 12 rounds of boxing in the light heavyweight division, recognized by the Bible of Boxing Ring Magazine as a great moment in boxing history. 2 champions will face each other for the one and only true light heavyweight championship of the world. Sanctioned by the International Boxing Organization and the California State Athletic Commission, Chairman Chris Mears, Vice Chairman John Frierson, Commissioner in attendance, Olympian Bruce Jenner. The 3 judges at ringside scoring this contest will be from California, Marty Denkin, from Nevada, Chuck Jampa, and from New York, Melvina Lathan. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, California's Pat Russell. And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world with dedication to the men and women serving in the armed forces of the United States, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue, official weight 174 1/4 pounds. Professional record 41 victories, including 28 knockouts, 9 defeats, and 2 bouts even. From Miami, Florida, the relinquished IBF light heavyweight champion of the world, the Road Warrior, Glen Johnson. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing teal with black and white, official weight 175 pounds. Professional record 22 victories, including 18 knockouts with only 2 defeats. From Orlando, Florida, he is the relinquished WBC light heavyweight champion of the world, Antonio Magic Man Tarver.
Magic Man, make him disappear.
Yes, sir. 1 second and 1 fighter. 1 second, 1 fighter. Let's go. Come on out, fellas. There's the line right there. There's the line right there. This is for the IBO Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. Touch up your gloves. Let's have a good fight. Good luck.
I'm not sure what the IBO is, but the Ring Magazine belt may not be official, but it is the most legitimate belt at stake here tonight.
Just a few moments ago, one of the men in Antonio Tarver's corner threw souvenir caps with Tarver's new teal coloring into the stands or into the bleachers, and one of them fell into the lap of a ringside spectator named Mike Tyson. He's already got a cap on his head. So round 1 begins, and Johnson comes across the ring aggressively and begins delivering jabs and body punches. And this is not dissimilar to what he attempted to do and got away with in the first round against you, Roy.
Yeah, this is the smartest fight for him because he's a shorter guy. He don't want to come out and deal with Antonio's jab. He want to come out and get in and make stuff happen right away.
Tarver, for his part, said, if Glen Johnson runs across the ring and tries to jump on me, I'll counter him and get an early knockout. Well, Johnson's had 52 fights. He was victimized on 11th round TKO by Hopkins, but he's never been knocked out, and he's getting the better of Antonio Tarver in the early going with sheer aggression, the same kind of aggression he showed against you.
Tarver appears just to be trying to measure what Johnson is doing, get an idea about his rhythm, his speed, before he unleashes his answers.
Already, Glen Johnson has thrown 43 punches. We're barely halfway through the round. He's right on pace to do what he did in the first round against Roy Jones when he threw a total of 84 punches. Now Tarver gets him back to the middle of the ring and begins to extend his jab a little bit. You wonder when Tarver might start trying to beat Johnson to the punch.
Well, he's not going to beat him to the punch because he covers up when Johnson punches at him. So he's not trying to beat him to the punch. So he's going to the elite defense when Johnson punches at him.
Do you think his biggest interest in this first round is to allow some of Johnson's energy to dissipate?
Yeah, and try to find an opportunity between Johnson's punches to hit him.
Now Johnson begins to be a little bit more careful. Johnson banging hard to Tarver's right arm. When you're fighting a more powerful fighter, and as Roy Jones pointed out, Tarver has the edge in power. It's good to go to the body early, and Glen Johnson has been disciplined about that.
Notice also how Johnson has his right hand practically glued to his forehead when he's not throwing it.
Tarver coming down over the top with a chopping left hand. Throws that left from a variety of different angles.
Stop the bell.
Styles make fights. This is a different looking equation than we've seen for either Glen Johnson or Antonio Tarver before, and round one is somewhat inconclusive.
Give me the bucket. Beautiful work, champ. Nice and relaxed. Nice and relaxed. Put the bucket down. You put it down. Put it down. All right. Spit over to your side. Over here, Glenn. You're going to spit over to the left. You're doing good work, baby. Listen. You got to keep up that pace. That's all you got to do with this guy. Use your feints. Listen to me, Glenn. Use your feints just like you're doing. Don't stop that movement that you're doing. That keeps him off. All right? When he gets in,
shoot the left hand downstairs.
Okay.
Touch him downstairs with the jab. Okay? Okay, baby? He's trying to get your respect. All right, but what we're going to do here is you're going to stay smart and do what Antonio Tarver does best. What we're going to do when you go to the rope, stay low.
Here you see Glen Johnson on the attack, going to the body, then coming up with a boom, good left hook right there to the head of Tarver. And he got that because he was landing beautiful body shots a little earlier.
But Johnson notably shifted gears in the last minute of the round after throwing so many punches in the first minute and a half. He threw only a handful of punches in the last minute of the round, maybe trying to conserve some energy for later on.
Yeah, he better, because Tarver just sitting back conserving all of his energy and hoping that he won't have to run out of energy and he'll have plenty left toward the end of the fight.
Johnson hit Tarver with a clean right hand. Antonio moves back looking for punching room. Tarver wants to extend his long arms. Johnson wants to get up in Tarver's chest and prevent that.
Yeah, Tarver always wants to mainly counter. He's not looking to do much when the guy's coming after him. He wants to take one punch at him. He wants to counter that one shot.
Tarver has landed some good, clean shots now. He's landed
Watch
2 or
those
3
heads.
to
Don't
the
leave
head,
that
1 or 2 to the body, and is looking to throw his right hook a little bit more because of the way Johnson is covering up for the left.
Tarver uppercutting with the left as Johnson moves in. He does it again there. 3-punch combination by Tarver there. Again, he mixed in the left uppercut. Leads with a left uppercut there and follows with a straight left hand. Antonio Tarver starting to get much more active here in the second round.
They got to get his hands busy or else he's going to get behind this fight.
Johnson still stalking, but not throwing nearly as much, and Tarver hits him with 2 left hands.
Johnson might be out of gas and throwing some of the punches in that first round.
Suddenly Tarver's fighting at a somewhat faster pace than we're accustomed to seeing from him.
Break. 1 step. All the way back.
Antonio going low and looking to hit Johnson in the body. Johnson fires a hard right hand to the body, but 1 punch at a time for Glen, which isn't really his style.
No, he slowed his punch output now for some strange reason.
Now he takes advantage of Tarver's immobility to fire some shots to the body, and Antonio counters him upstairs and lands another clean left hand. Johnson with a good left hand to the body. Uppercut lands for Johnson and a quick left hook. Straight left hand from Tarver moves Johnson. Both fighters have had some moments here in the second round, and while the crowd booed a little bit in the closing stages of the first round, they won't boo this. The fight is breaking out.
Stop the bell.
Round 2 ends with a hard Glen Johnson right hand to Tarver's ribcage. Catch the next Real Sports, Tuesday, December 28. Among the stories, an inspiring look at Kyle Maynard, a former high school wrestler who competed despite having been born without arms and legs.
All right? You got to get a little bit busy on him. Don't let him get off so much. Don't let him get off so much, all right? Get a little bit busy. Catch your breath. You got this. Just stay on it. He's starting to fade. All right? You notice his punches are getting a little bit weaker. All right? But don't let him get off.
Jab working now, okay?
Stay small.
Stay small. Stay small and go to the body. Don't worry about turning right-handed yet. Let's break him down to the body. Okay? So now you relax. It's your night, okay?
Okay.
Now you relax. Just keep that jab going and stay low and work the body.
Okay.
Don't worry about the head yet. All right, baby?
There's a look at Mike Tyson, seated in row 2 at ringside. He's right behind Kobe and Vanessa Bryant. You may have heard of them. And the souvenir Tarver cap was given to the gentleman who sits next to Mike. So in round 2, CompuBox found Tarver landing 31 out of 68. And Johnson 21 out of 64. Power connects the edge definitely to Antonio Tarver there in the second round. Glen Johnson tries to get started again in round 3 and catches Tarver with a left hook.
If Johnson can take the best punches of Tarver as he has so far, this is going to be a long, tough fight.
And I think it's going to be a pretty good, tough fight because I think he can take a lot of them. Tarver will have to catch him by surprise to drop him.
What do you think of Tarver's chin, and can Johnson threaten it?
Yeah, Johnson can threaten if he wears him down. I don't think Tarver really has the best chin, but it never gets tested because he has such a superb defense.
Tarver 3 times to the body, 2 big left hands upstairs. Johnson keeps coming forward. Throws a right hand into Tarver's face, backs him into the corner.
What Johnson has to do is be careful not to do what I saw another fighter do against Tarver, which is think that he's tired and hurt, and he'll sneak a good left hand on him. Like that.
Tarver can back into position to extend his arms and get punching room. He's been very effective. When Johnson manages to get right up on top of Tarver, he's been effective.
Already welts under the eyes of Johnson, who's being raked with cleaner punches.
There's a big left hand from Antonio Tarver, one of his best punches in the fight so far.
And Tarver's nose is bleeding already too, so.
Roy, if you were to fight again, which of the 2 would you prefer to fight?
I wouldn't care. It don't really matter when it comes to me. I just love to fight. I don't have a specific person I be wanting to fight. I whoop all of them. I don't care.
So then the winner, in other words.
If I chose to fight again, but I don't see enough really here to threaten to bring me out of retirement, so I'm cool where I'm at.
Good. Good by us. We like where you are. Johnson trying to stay active here in round 3, as Larry Merchant pointed out. Tarver is beginning to do some damage to Johnson's face. Good body shot by Glen Johnson. Has to walk through some punishment to do what he wants to do, but you can't question the tenacity and the bravery of Johnson as he hammers Tarver with a right hand, and Antonio keeps walking back to try to get punching room.
Yeah, he's going to keep the pressure on because that's his only chance in this fight. He can't stay outside and fight Tarver because Tarver has long arms. Tarver's 6'2", so he has to walk Tarver down.
Listen for the bell, fellas. Listen for the bell.
Tarver doing an excellent job to the body.
Pretty good round for Antonio Tarver, who found plenty of opportunities to counter and landed accurately.
Listen to me. You're looking for the one punch. Stop looking for the let it flow natural, Antonio. Listen, you got to crack his body some more. You're not going too much head hunting. You're trying too hard. Relax, baby. Hey, stop trying so hard, man. Okay? Stand your ground a little more now. Okay?
Round 4.
Okay, here you go. Drink it. Drink that. Okay,
Keep walking him down. Stick him to the body. We got this. Take a shot. All right, cut him loose. That's enough. Start cutting him loose, Tony. All right, Mark. Good work, champ. Nice and relaxed. He's gone. He's done. The body work's doing it, kid. Stay on that body. That's all it is.
Because
Stay
of
on that body.
hockey strike, we have a light heavyweight championship here in Los Angeles between 2 fighters from Florida.
Ain't that funny?
Tarver's a big fan of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And Harold Letterman, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim, 2 rounds to 1, 29-28, Antonio the Magic Man Tarver. Jim, I'll tell you something. I like the good boxer. Tarver's boxing a good fight. Uses that right hand beautifully for southpaw. He backs up. He catches Glen Johnson with a good right uppercut, right hook, right jab. Johnson's still the aggressor, just like you see now. But Tarver won rounds 2 and 3 with his boxing.
Tarver threw 97 punches by CompuBox count in the 3rd round, Roy. We know Glen Johnson can fight at a fast pace for a long time. Can Antonio?
I don't know. He didn't put a lot of effort in those punches he throws, so they didn't take a lot out of him. If he throw him like that, he probably can last for a little while.
Johnson busting Tarver backward, trying to punch right through Tarver's guard, and the body punch is landed.
And this is the fight Johnson wants. He just can't sit still with Tarver because Tarver's just looking for one big opening. You heard Buddy McGirt tell Tarver, quit looking for one punch, put punches together. He realized that Tarver's really making a mistake here, looking for one shot, but that's
I still don't think Antonio's doing what Buddy was looking for.
No, he's not, because Buddy told him to work the body and quit looking for one punch.
He may be resting a little bit, Roy.
No, he's playing possum. He's looking for one big shot.
Well, one big shot is not going to do it to this guy from his record.
As I said, 52 previous fights. Johnson's never been KO'd. He was TKO'd by Bernard Hopkins, who he says shut down everything he tried to do. There's a hard left hand by Tarver, best punch of the round, followed by another one. It had been Johnson's round up to that moment. Good hard left hand body shot by Tarver. Just misses the uppercut. Johnson starts to throw again.
You know, it's the old football saying, take what they give you.
All right, I gotta stop.
Tarver sees openings downstairs and goes for it.
Free up those hands. Free them up. You don't need me. Stop. Break. Step back. Watch your heads.
First minute of the round definitely belonged to Glen Johnson. Tarver seemed to turn it around toward the end of the second minute of the round. Third minute of the round has been Tarver backing up and generally finding his opportunities to land.
Now he's just trying to win the round with short punches, Jim, you know. And that's what he should have done earlier. Throwing the short punch and keep Glen busy.
And because he just tries to land, he finally gets a chance to land something hard.
Exactly. That's what he should have did the whole time.
Big left hand to punctuate the round by Antonio Tarver, and Johnson looks a little weary as he goes back to his corner.
And Tarver's rally may have stolen the round.
If you take a break, that's what happens. You got to stay busy. You got to stay busy on it. It's all right. It's good. He shot anyways. You're going to get that shot you're looking for. You're going to get that shot you're looking for, but you got to stay to the body.
How we doing, Glenn?
Good. You're doing good. Okay, rinse and spit it out. Don't take it. Stay to the body, baby. You got to stay to the body. You know what? Use.
Okay.
Round 5. How we doing? Join him. Make sure we don't get those headbutts.
Okay. Now you fight like a champ. Okay, baby? Now you fight like a champ.
He see Glen Johnson with a beautiful left hook to the body, one of his best punches, and definitely his best body shot of that round.
Antonio. Mouthpiece. Antonio.
Round 4 was a seesaw round. 12 of Antonio Tarver's 26 connected punches came in the final minute of the round. That was after Johnson seemed to have seized the initiative at the beginning of the round. Letterman gives it to Antonio Tarver, and round 5 begins. See if Johnson's any the worse for wear from that big left hand that ended the round for Tarver in round 4.
Johnson's virtually fighting in an old peekaboo style offense, trying to defend his head from Tarver's shots.
Hard right hand by Johnson. As Tarver momentarily dropped his hands, and Johnson got a free shot.
Tarver just trying to rest the game. He want to wait till the end of the round, try to pity pat and steal the round. He's fighting a small fight against Glen Johnson.
Tarver kind of slow-balling the jab twice. Now he throws a hard jab and follows it up with a left hand. Good uppercut lands for Johnson, followed by a good body shot. Hard right hand for Johnson. Comes back with a body shot. Johnson thinks he's hurt Tarver.
I don't think he's hurt. He's playing possum, but that was a good shot by Johnson.
Tarver looks hurt. If he isn't, he's getting a good imitation of somebody who's hurt.
He's just playing possum. He's really a little tired. He plays possum like this so guys can relax on him.
You're exactly right, and Johnson's figured it out. He himself realized that Tarver wasn't hurt. Uppercut from Tarver. Now let's see if Johnson can seal the deal in this round. Once again, he seized the initiative. In the last round, he seemed to allow it to slip away.
Well, his thing is he's going to wear Tarver down, then try to catch up and catch him with a good shot. He's not trying to knock him out one punch right now. That's not his fight.
Tarver landed one good shot. Johnson came back with a couple.
Have we had a clinch in this fight?
Nope.
Double left hook from Glen Johnson. It's been a very active round from Johnson. He's expended a great deal of energy.
All right, I got to stop punching. Step back. One step. Let's go. Listen for that bell.
Johnson's going to wind up throwing more than 80 punches in the round. High output for him. And seems to kind of limp back to his corner.
Hey, it's simple, baby. It's simple. Simple. Give me the water. All right, catch your breath. Nice and relaxed. Hey, it's simple. That's the key right there. Jab. Just jab, 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 jab. Knocks him back and sets everything up, G-Man. You got this, kid. You see where he's ready to go, Glenn? You see how he's ready to go?
That's man. Don't have to be hard.
You good?
It's all good, bro.
Hey, listen, don't have to be hard shots, okay? Come on, baby.
Let your hands go, dog. You work too hard for this, baby. You got to bite down and let them hands go.
Hey.
He see Glen Johnson come with a jab to the body and follow with a right uppercut. Boom, a beautiful right uppercut right on the chin of Antonio Tarver. Then he comes back and pins him against the rope with a left hook to the head and a right body shot, which was a beautiful right body shot.
Boy, if Johnson had big punching power, he could have hurt Tarver with that uppercut. And that's part of why Antonio played possum and gave him the impression that he had.
Thanks, Coach. Keep me dry. Keep me dry in that corner.
Johnson threw more than twice as many punches as Tarver in that round by CompuBox count. There's a good hard left hand from Antonio. Larry?
Well, Tarver came out in the stance that said, I'm going to try to get you earlier this round. I'm not going to let you get rolling. But he is in with one tough hombre.
All right, let it go. Let it go. Watch that head. Step back. Break. Now go. Don't hold that head, Glenn. Don't hold that head. All right, just take a look. Wait over there for a second. Time.
Accidental headbutt.
And a cut on that
Referee
left
Pat
eye.
Russell sees a cut over the left eye of Glen Johnson.
Well, anytime there's a cut like that, it becomes more imperative to start winning the rounds.
It was a cut against Bernard Hopkins in '97 that led to the one TKO loss of Glen Johnson's career. If there's a cut there as the result of this butt, it sure isn't a big one because we haven't been able to spot it with the naked eye so far. Good hard left hand by Tarver. There it is. The cut's on the outside of the left eye. Good straight left hand by Tarver there behind the jab. Since the headbutt, since the appearance of blood on the face of Glen Croft Johnson, Antonio Tarver has become much more aggressive, firing combinations, landing an uppercut, knocking Johnson back with a hard left hand.
And that won't bother Johnson. Johnson will just keep coming, trust me.
But it will win the round for Tarver, who lost the last one and seems to have the advantage here. Tarver able to block Johnson's lead right hand. Johnson keeps following a puncher around. It's a dangerous thing to do. It's what he has to do to win the fight. Good hard uppercut by Johnson. Good straight left hand by Tarver.
Johnson's doing the only thing that he can do, which is come forward, put pressure, put pressure. That's the only chance he has to win this fight, and he knows that he's not going to stop coming.
Tarver walking side to side. Again, trying to create distance, make punching room.
Right,
Johnson once again tries to jump in on top of it.
Step all the way back. Let's go. Now go. Stop at the bell, fellas. Stop at the bell.
Tarver scoring with one last solid left hand to underline his having won the round.
All right. Get him out. All right. All right, give me some water. Put the bucket in front of him. All right, good work. Please. Good work, champ. Good work. A little bit of pressure.
Pass by a butt.
Yep. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
That's good. Let's see.
Fine. It's fine. It's nothing.
Brother, give me a quick look.
It's nothing.
We got
Take a quick look.
Got it. No problem.
All right. Listen, G, it's all good. But you gotta outwork this guy, Glenn. You can't let him out. You can't let him outwork you.
You see the left and the right come together. Glen's jab went behind Tarver's head, and their heads come together and they collided. A bad cut over Glen's eyes. Not bad, but it's in a bad place because it'll bleed right down into his
He'll
eye.
pick his shots. What he does is he goes into a defensive mode when you fire more than one. All right? Start firing multiple shots. All right, let's go.
Cut man in Glen Johnson's corner is his manager Mark Vaz. We'll see what happens as they go along, treating the cut into round 7 of a scheduled 12. In the 5th round, or in the 6th round, 28 of Antonio Tarver's 33 connects were power shots. Harold, how do you have it so far?
Okay, Jim. 58, 56, 4 rounds to 2, Antonio the Magic Man Tarver. Jim, the rule on that cut is this. Since it's beyond the 4th round and the cut was caused by an accidental headbutt, if this fight gets stopped because that cut gets made bigger by clean legal blows, we go to the scorecards.
You know, we've seen Tarver for months and months on television, glib, funny, promoting himself, Jay Leno and so on. But boy, out here, it's just a fight. None of that wins you this fight.
Pretty doggone good fight.
A very good fight. A lot of punching, a lot of action. Nobody laying down, nobody laying around. They're both fighting a good fight. We love to see this type of activity.
Johnson's advantage is his constant, sustained energy and his will to come inside, past Tarver's jab. Tarver is the harder hitter and has been able sometimes to move Johnson with his punches.
And Johnson walking straight in right now. You better be very careful because he's got to be surprised sometime here soon.
And Tarver trying to counter Johnson's right hand with a left, just misses.
Johnson's head is straight up in the air. His hand's not in a defensive mode right now, so he's in a dangerous place.
Yeah, and Johnson seems to be pushing his punches now, Roy, for some reason. I don't know if that's fatigue or...
Yeah, that's fatigue.
Now Tarver catches a couple of hard shots from Johnson as Glen goes back to throw it harder. Tarver whacks him through the guard with the left hand, lands another straight left hand. Blood has not flowed in the round.
Free hands, free up.
So Mark Vaz's first effort to stop Glen Johnson's cut has, for the moment, worked perfectly.
I haven't heard a fighter grunting so much with each punch since Joe Frazier.
It means he's getting a little tired there.
Oh, big left hand shot by Tarver. Johnson's got a heck of a beard. He walks right through it.
Stop at the bell. Stop at that bell, fellas.
We are in the middle of a technical revolution in sports television, the advent of high definition. High definition television will very shortly become the norm for all major sports events in the United States. You saw high def at the Olympics this summer. You're watching it on HBO.
We got everything under control. Listen, the 1-2s are working all day. Now change up. Now double up on the jab.
Coach, give me a quick look.
Give him a quick look. Good. Listen, now change it up. Now double up on the jab. Double up on the jab, then shoot the right hand. And you're gonna catch him. You can lay him out this round. If you double up on the jab and shoot the right hand.
That takes something. Do not sit there and let him keep punching on you.
Take it out.
You let the guy walk in too much. You got to work the jab, okay? And give me some left hands to the body, please. You're not doing that, okay? You're not throwing nobody.
Star-studded crowd on hand here at Staples Center. Kobe and Vanessa Bryant, Mike Tyson, variety of other big LA names all within range of ringside. Glen Johnson and Antonio Tarver into the 8th round of their scheduled 12. The two men who are fighting for supremacy in the light heavyweight division after both having scored upset wins by knockout over Roy Jones earlier this year. We invited you to tune in, or I should say to log on to www.hbo.com/boxing to ask a question of our on-air commentators. And here's one for you, Roy. If you were in Glen Johnson's corner, and right now he's doing pretty well, what advice would you pass along?
Just tell him to keep on going forward, keep pressing, and keep his hands up, because a lot of times he walks in with his hands down.
And if you were advising Antonio Tarver?
Box and keep letting your hands go.
And don't look for the one big shot, right?
He does a lot better when he lets his punches go.
Another hard left hand. Tarver has landed 2 solid left crosses in this round. Glen Johnson keeps hacking away, but the more effective punches are landed by Tarver, and Johnson shows it when Tarver's able to connect. Good double left hook by Glen Johnson. All-effort fighter.
He's going to give you everything he got, that's for sure.
This is a really fierce fight. One of the best light heavyweight fights I can recall.
Well, that left hand may have hurt Johnson.
Tarver has done a great job here in the 8th round of, as Roy Jones says, just letting his hands go. And it's been a huge round for Antonio Tarver, who's landed hard punches and who has started the blood flowing again on Glen Johnson's face. A minute to go in the round. Johnson continues to try to press the action. Antonio dances backward to get a little breather after throwing a lot of punches in the first 2 minutes of the round.
Yeah, but the good thing is all those punches take a lot out of Glen Coffee Johnson too, so Glen needs a breather just as well. So he's not dealing with a fighter who's not tired. His opponent is just as tired as he is.
There's been a fair amount of body punching in the fight, Roy. How do you feel tomorrow after a fight like this?
Sometimes you can be pretty sore. Your arms, the back of your head, everything. Not just tomorrow, for a couple of days.
It reminds you that you're a fighter, huh?
That's right. It reminds you what you do for a living.
Johnson chasing and trying to come on again.
Listen for that bell.
Johnson threw 96 punches in the 7th round, expended a lot of energy there. That round seemed more to belong to Tarver.
You gotta pick it up. You gotta pick it up. Is that working you a little bit?
Well, an early visit from Santa Claus to tell us that round 9 is upcoming. This is Nikki Zeno of New York in the Santa outfit. 3,000 miles away from her original hometown. Taking advantage of the showbiz spotlight available to her here in Los Angeles.
You need every round.
Nikki Zeno.
It's the truth.
It's the work. You gotta work.
Okay, we gotta work.
Ain't no cakewalk, man. You gotta work.
Okay, keep working. Stay low and then stand your ground and work the body. Keep the jab out there. Show them what you made of now.
Looking around, I noticed that virtually all of the boxes, the upper tiers, are absolutely filled. Those people have been promised any number of events for the season, including hockey, and without any hockey, they're getting to see a real fight, not a hockey fight.
Chopping right hand lands for Glen Johnson there. In round 8, Tarver was 31 out of 78 by CompuBox numbers. Johnson 17 out of 67. 20 of Tarver's connects were power shots. He reaches out with the right hand there and lands 2 solid lefts in succession. And unfazed Glen Johnson comes back, keeps throwing with his right hand.
One of the questions about about Tarver going into this fight was, after fighting Roy Jones twice. The biggest fights of his life, fights that he'd been looking forward to for so many years. Would he be ready for this kind of tough fight?
Oh, he's ready for it.
And he's shown something by being absolutely as good as he can be, from what I could see, Roy.
Yeah, he's showing he got to be ready because right now he still has to make money. This is the first time he got an opportunity to start making money. He can't lay short now because he has a family to feed.
Well, he told that he had been in bankruptcy about a year ago. He's no longer in bankruptcy. And according to his advisors, another fight or two like this one, and
Take a break.
he'll have an annuity for life.
Boy, Antonio Tarver's taller than you are and has longer arms.
Right.
But he doesn't have the blinding speed that you used to bedevil John Ruiz when you moved up and fought a heavyweight.
Nope.
Could Tarver fight heavyweights?
Yeah, he can fight heavyweights because of his height, mainly.
And the southpaw thing would help him
Yeah,
too,
it would
right?
help him a whole lot.
Most heavyweights not accustomed to fighting against southpaws. That's one thing Michael Moore used to his advantage when he won the heavyweight crown. So you're talking about making money. That may be the number one way to make money if he can find the niche that he wants, assuming that he's able to hold on to light heavyweight identity tonight.
He'll hold on to it as long as he keeps boxing and moving like he's doing. He's fighting a very smart fight right about now. I don't see Glen Johnson catching up with him because he's fighting very smart. He's staying away from Glen Johnson. That's the best thing to do.
All right, I got it. Step back. Don't hold him. Step back. Break. Now go.
In the last couple of rounds, Tarver seems to have become a little more secure defensively, and perhaps that's because Johnson is tiring and can't flurry for as extended a period of time now.
Exactly. He's very tired. He's not throwing nearly as many punches as he was earlier.
He said that after he won a title and made some money, the candy tasted sweeter. Right now, he's tasting sour balls.
77, 76. Got him one up. Give me a mouthpiece. All right.
We'll try a second, please.
All right, you're good. You're good. You got her working. Under left eye.
Yeah, let me give him a second. I got to get a little pressure on this, please.
All right, listen, Glenn. You got to work this guy. You got to stay on him, Glenn. It's too close. They got him up, I think, one round. You hear me?
Yeah.
They got him up one round, kid. They're not going to give it to us. You got to start taking it to him. What round is this?
Drink this. Drink this. It's round 10, baby.
Championship rounds, baby.
Antonio, listen to me.
Hold your
Listen
ground,
to me.
man.
Listen to me. Look at me. We need these. Stand your ground. Bite down. Don't back up. Don't
Dress
give up
down the
nothing.
defense.
Dress down
Don't
the
pull out,
defense.
don't pull up.
And work. Okay.
He see Tarver with a jab and a left hand right behind Glen Johnson's straight left jab. Good counter punches. As long as he fight from outside like that, he'll do good.
Roy, Tarver's trainer, Buddy McGirt, is gathering a huge reputation in the sport because of the successes he's enjoyed in the last couple of years, usually with veteran fighters like Arturo Gatti, also Tarver. We'll talk more about it in a moment. Right now, let's see how Harold Letterman has the fight after 9 rounds.
Okay, Jim. 87, 84, 6 rounds to 3, Antonio Tarver. Jim, he's very, very effective with that sharp left hand. Glen Johnson, you know, he's the aggressor, but it's ineffective aggressiveness. He's getting in, he's just not landing the real good shots that Tarver's landing. Tarver getting the cleaner, harder shots with the left hand, so Tarver, 6 rounds to 3.
My take, Roy, is that McGirt succeeds not by trying to change the fighters he's training, but by encouraging them to do what they want to do and building their confidence. What's your take?
Exactly. He builds confidence with them. He makes them feel comfortable, makes them feel like they have a chance again, and it's easy to bring them back that way. He's been doing a wonderful job with that.
You heard Buddy McGirt telling Antonio Tarver between rounds 9 and 10, you need these next 3. Bite down.
Glen Johnson's got away from throwing his right hand, too. That's been hurting him.
Tarver looks a little tired right now.
Yeah, he's taking a little break. He threw a lot of punches the last round.
We often see fighters clearly taking a break, getting some rest. I don't think I've ever heard a trainer say to a fighter, go in there and get a rest in this next round. This is a decision the fighter always makes on his own, right?
Yeah, you have to, because the trainer's not in there fighting those rounds. He don't know how tired the fight is. He's just telling them what to do. It's easy to tell a horse to run fast, but do you know how much energy it takes for him to run that fast?
Johnson seems to sense that Tarver wants to take a rest here and is trying to take advantage of it. But Tarver has been effective in staying away, and sticking out the bat just often enough to move Johnson off. Larry, we have a ringside request online.
Let's go.
And one of our viewers wants to know how you have the fight scored so far.
I have Tarver had 7 rounds to 2, but he's losing this round.
Or at least he was until that particular moment.
That was a good combination by Tarver here.
It has been mostly Johnson's round, and now he lands a hard right hand of his own to balance the left hand that Tarver landed. So while Buddy McGirt wanted Antonio Tarver to focus on winning the last 3 rounds in the fight, Tarver decided he wanted to take round off and get a little bit of a rest. And that will tighten things up on the scorecards.
Now Glen Johnson's doing just what Tarver was doing earlier. He's trying to knock out with 1 punch.
Surely thinking that he's behind in the fight.
Stop at the bell.
But just as it was a bad idea for Tarver to try to knock out Johnson with 1 punch, it's probably a bad idea for Johnson to try to do that too.
Just as bad.
Listen to me. If you listen, we win the fight. If you listen. You gave me good word, baby. All we got to win this is 2 more rounds, 1 at a time. After you give me 3 of the best minutes in your life, you come back to me and I'll bring you back. All right, Glen? You hear me? Nice and relaxed. All right. Cover him up a little bit. Put a towel on him. He's cold. All right. Nice and relaxed. Put a towel on his back. Okay. Listen to me, Glen.
We need these lefts. Listen to me, champion. Listen to me. Go back to the jab. Listen to me. We need meaningful jabs. Meaningful punches. Okay? You said you work.
One of those towels when you're done here. Make sure we're cleaned up.
You said you work hard for this, baby. Give me that towel. You worked hard for this. Let's go. Take it.
Tarver breathing hard in his corner, trying to maximize his oxygen uptake, getting ready for rounds 11 and 12. Glen Johnson with a little bit of a lift after Tarver basically took the 10th off, landing only 10 punches, his lowest connect number since the first round. Now they get ready to go back to grappling with each other. Tarver, the taller, longer boxer, seemed in the early rounds very conscious of trying to score a knockout over Johnson. Somewhere in the middle rounds, Antonio seemed to gather that he wasn't going to knock Glen Johnson out with any 1 or 2 good shots. And through most of the late rounds, he has boxed, let his hands go, and scored heavily. But now Glen Johnson is coming back in the fight, and Tarver tries to stop the bleeding with 1 big left hand.
Yeah, that hurt Glen Johnson, I think.
Yeah, it stepped him back. He went back, but he is tremendously resilient. This is a guy who's been a construction worker to support his career in boxing, and he puts in a full day's work.
What an irony it would be if the 2 guys who made their reputations by beating the great Roy Jones fought to a draw. Glen Johnson just won't go away. And now he gets a burst of energy and starts to fire combinations again. And Tarver tries to come on and apply some energy himself. Good hard left hand by Tarver. Johnson leans forward and tries to fire a right. Tarver with a counter right as he backs away. Just a little pop. Johnson's punch partially blocked. Tarver missing twice with the left hand in close. Hard right hand by Johnson. It's a close round. Fight is heating up in the 11th. Down. There was no punch contact. Some of the crowd wanted that to be ruled a knockdown, but it wasn't. Hard right hand by Johnson.
Best punch of the fight for Johnson, I think.
Seizing the initiative here in the 11th. Tarver pops him to the left. Johnson walks through it and comes on. Crowd is very excited as they think Glen Johnson has won the 11th round to tighten this fight up.
All right. All right, give me water. All right. Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
All right, listen to you. You gotta knock him out, Antonio. Listen to me. Antonio, listen to me. When you done punching, he's coming right back. You cannot stop. Come on, take a deep breath.
You wanna hold it, champ. Hold it. Hold it now. Hold it. You wanna hold it.
Hey, the other one. You good? Glenn, give me the best round of your life.
You got it.
Listen, he's got us on volume. What he's doing is this shit, pity pat. You got a pity pat with him, but put it on him.
When you too hard, baby.
When you punching, he's coming right back.
Hold your ground, baby.
Stand your ground.
Glenn, give it to me now. The winner of this round.
Here's the drama. After some great work in rounds 7, 8, and 9, Antonio Tarver appeared to think that he had Glen Johnson right in his hip pocket. And he seemed to relax in the 10th. But he may pay, as now Johnson has hauled himself out of Tarver's pocket with big rounds in the 10th and the 11th. And maybe the fight is on the table in the 12th.
Yeah, you have to commend both guys. Both guys have fought an excellent fight tonight. They put out a lot of punches. It's been a great fight for the fans. I mean, nobody ducked or ran or tried to dodge anything. They fought a beautiful fight tonight.
They're going to wind up throwing more than 800 punches apiece, which in a light heavyweight fight is a ton of leathers. They're both going to land more than 200 punches. They've done well. Johnson reaching with the right hand to the body. Tarver wants to try to get in one or two good straight left hands. Set him up with the jabs. There's one. And Johnson grabs and holds.
Well, that looked like it buckled Johnson momentarily.
There's another one. And indeed, Johnson seems to be withering under the left hand assault. Another big left hand for Tarver. Johnson is under the gun now.
Tarver showing another side of himself. He's been the boxer, and he's come out here to brawl, to make sure he wins this fight.
Now, here's the problem for Tarver. When does his energy level run out? And when does Johnson try to come on? Another huge left hand for Tarver. That one really hurt Johnson. But look at Glen Johnson hang in.
But Tarver gonna play possum all day like this. This is his fight. This type of fight he likes to fight. Make it look like he's tired and then throw a big shot and try to catch you. That's how he knocked Eric Harding out the second time.
Johnson's trying to do with the right hand what Tarver's been doing to him with the left. But Antonio scored so heavily in the first minute and a half of the round that he now has the advantage. However, you can see the exhaustion now as Tarver wobbles backward. Unless he's playing possum again.
He's playing possum.
You know these guys.
Yeah, I know him very well. I watch him all the time. He's playing possum. That's how he plays. I mean, he's a little tired, don't get me wrong, but he's mainly playing possum, wobbling back like this.
He wants to gull Johnson into taking another one of those lefts.
Right, he wants Johnson to relax and think it's over with and relax so he can land a pick left hand.
Crowd is falling in behind Glen Johnson. They're rooting for him, or so it seems.
Neither of these guys left a thing in the dressing room, in the gym, out of the ropes. They put it all out here tonight. They've justified the idea that this was the biggest light heavyweight fight in the world, and it should have been made.
I think Tarver stumbled because Johnson was on his foot.
Yeah, no, Johnson stumbled because he's on Tarver's foot.
A great action fight.
Outstanding.
Both fighters made their statements. Johnson's corner picks him up, and Tarver's corner picks him up too.
You know, historically, unless the light heavyweight division has had a star, it's never been a popular division. And somebody's going to come out of this fight as a fighter the public wants to see again.
Well, you know, as the heavyweight size parameters move up, we see 240 and 250-pound heavyweight fighters. 175 is now the middleweight division.
Pretty much.
Roy Jones, a classic middleweight, spent much of his career in the light heavyweight division because athletes are bigger now.
Yes, they are.
Let's take a look at the three judges who will have to try to choose a winner between Glen Johnson and Antonio Tarver. California veteran Marty Denkin had Klitschko well ahead of Sanders. Everybody else did too. Veteran Chuck Champa out of Vegas. You've seen him many times. One of the most respected judges in the sport. Scored the second Barrera fight, 116-112 over Morales, and Barrera was the official winner of the fight. And Melvina Lathan scored Bird Galata a draw. The fight was a draw because of her scorecard. She's also been involved in a lot of big fights. One from California, one from Nevada, one from New York. What do you think, Roy? Do you think Tarver held on and won the fight?
Yeah, I think he pulled it out. I think he held on. He threw a lot of good jabs. I just thought he fought a good fight, fought a good defensive type fight, and I think he did enough to pull it out.
So you saw Harold Letterman's score, which was 115-113 Tarver. Let's go to Michael Buffer now and officially find out who won the fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, when the winner is announced, he will be recognized by the IBO and fans and pundits around the world as the true light heavyweight champion of the world. We go to the scorecards. Marty Denkin scores it 116-112 for Tarver. Melvina Lathan scores it 115-113 for Johnson. Chuck Champa scores the bout 115-113 to the winner by split decision. He is the Road Warrior Glen Johnson.
Convinces the judges with his energy and his commitment that he was the winner in the fight.
Well, you know, what can you say?
The crowd wanted Johnson, and 2 out of 3 judges score the fight for Johnson. Melvina Lathan and Chuck Champa both choosing the Road Warrior, as he is now nicknamed, over Antonio Tarver.
That's a fight I'd love to see again.
It could be a fight that'll take place again after the brilliance we saw here tonight. Final CompuBox numbers. And CompuBox finds Tarver landing 79 more punches than Johnson, throwing 57 more punches than Johnson, and landing at a higher connect percentage. Jabs, Tarver and Johnson landing an equal number. Tarver throwing fewer and landing at a higher percentage. Johnson, the more active of the two fighters with the jab, as Roy Jones told you he would be. Power punches in the fight. Tarver landing 80 more power shots by CompuBox count than Johnson did. Tarver throwing 126 more power shots and landing at the higher connect percentage by our lights. He also landed the more effective punches, but the judges didn't see it that way. Let's go to Larry Merchant with Glen Johnson.
Thank you very much, Jim. Congratulations, Glenn. What won the fight for you?
Heart and hard work, determination. Just know that I have to go in there and work no matter what the cost, and just keep working. It's been a long road. I've been working very hard to get here, and I'm finally here. I hope I'm appreciated.
Did he hurt you at any time?
No, he never hurt me. Knocked me off balance because I didn't have my legs up under me, but nothing hurt me.
You said when we spoke the last time, I may not be the best, I'm not the best, but I'm willing to fight the best. Are you willing to say now that you're the best?
No, I'm still not the best. Looking for Mr. Best.
Yeah. This was such a good action fight, such a close decision. Would you want to do a rematch?
Definitely. Antonio Tarver is a great fighter. And, you know, he surprised me. I didn't expect him to fight as well as he did. But he proved that he's a true champion. And he did the work. And I came out and I did the work. And I pulled out a close decision, which is surprising for me because that never happened for me. But Orlando Cuellar, my trainer, and I have been working very hard in the gym. And we got here. I just want to send a shout out to all the Jamaicans throughout the world and the people back in Miami for supporting me.
Thank you very much. Again, congratulations, Glenn.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Jim?
All right, thank you very much. Well, Roy Jones, our two scorers, Harold Letterman and Larry Merchant, both saw the fight more in Tarver's favor, but I couldn't help thinking, as Tarver took the 10th round off, that it might not be the wisest decision.
Yeah, it hurt him because with Glen being so aggressive early in the fight, they felt like any round that Tarver took off and Glen was aggressive, he was going to win. So a lot of times, judges don't just judge the fight on small punches landed. They judge it on range generalship, like Harold always says, and aggression.
And one thing that Tarver did by taking the 10th round off, he let the crowd back into the fight on Johnson's behalf. Here's Larry Merchant with Tarver.
Thank you again, Jim. Antonio, did you think you won the fight?
Of course. You know, it's always been all or nothing with me. I go to the cards and can't seem to get a fair shake. I got to knock everybody out. And, you know, I'm not one to make excuses. Glen fought a gallant fight tonight, but I showed the true heart of a champion. I got down. I hurt him in the last round. I thought I had enough to pull it out, but, you know, that's the scorecards for you.
Was he tougher, able to take your punch better than you anticipated?
Of course not. I mean, I'm not going to say a guy can't take my punch until he's out. But I hit him with some good hard shots. I hurt my left hand. I don't know. I got to get an x-ray on it early in the fight. So, you know, I wasn't able to utilize it as well as I would have normally. But, you know, I thought I did enough to win the fight. And, you know, what can I say?
Well, let's see that left hand here. When did you hurt it?
I guess around about the 4th, 5th round, I caught him with a good shot straight on the top of the forehead. And, I mean, it's just excruciating pain throughout, but, you know, that's not it. You know, I fought my fight. I boxed him. I moved. I showed great defense. And but he was a gutty fighter, and, you know, what can I say?
He said he'd want to fight you again in a rematch. This was such a good fight. Do you want the rematch?
Of course I want the rematch. You know, I don't know. I mean, I thought I did enough to win the fight. I dictated the pace. He came strong as I thought he would, but when he came, he didn't get anything. You know, I was dressed down in defense. I mean, he hit me with some good shots, but it never hurt me. I mean, I thought I won the fight.
Thank you, Antonio. Jim?